On to our next story regarding the Benghazi hearing. So, since we're talking about the House, this provides us with a segue into Benghazi, which, of course, will give us then another segue into the election 2016 coverage. I'm trying to get a little better at segues in case you haven't noticed. So on Thursday, the House Special Investigation Committee on Benghazi held congressional hearings a congressional hearing to question Hillary Clinton, who is the presumptive 2016 Democratic nominee on Benghazi. Now, I'm sure most of you caught all 11 hours of the hearing, but here's a 3-minute recap of some of the highlights. All right, some pretty good highlights. I'm still like Trey Gowdy's there about the carrier pigeon and the smoke signals. You can tell that goes back to his time as a prosecutor. So, not a whole lot of new information came forward out of the 11 hours, and the committee spent probably a little bit too much time on some emails between Blumenthal and her. She did come under some testy cross-examination over the extent to which she has taken responsibility for the deaths of the 4 Americans during the attacks in Benghazi, and her contact with Ambassador Chris Stevens after sending him to Libya. Now, one Republican, Peter Roskam of Illinois, grew increasingly frustrated about Clinton's refusal to provide any new answers on the attack. Quote, "I've heard one dismissive thing after another. What did you do? What did you own?" Roskam asked, his patience fraying over Clinton's repeated statements that though she accepted responsibility for what happened in Benghazi, decisions about security arrangements were left to U.S. envoys on the ground and security professionals in the State Department. Once again, she was Secretary of State. Now, the Democrats, on the other hand, tried to act as a shield for Clinton, giving her opportunities to seem emotional during the hearing. Although we all know that Clinton has no emotions, she really wasn't that good at faking them either at that time. To me, it was very clear that Hillary was not taking the committee seriously due to her numerous smirks and general dismissing attitude, including with some of those smarky remarks you just heard. But let's go over what we do know. Ambassador Stevens sent multiple requests to the State Department while Hillary was Secretary of State, asking for more protection and security. He also went into detail about how the deteriorating situation was happening there in Benghazi. We know that these requests were denied by Hillary's State Department and that they failed to give the security he so desperately asked for and needed. We know that during the attack, an urgent request from the CIA annex for military backup was denied and were told to stand down. However, the bravery of former SEAL Tyrone Woods would not let him stand by while fellow Americans were killed. If it were up to the administration, no telling how many more deaths could have occurred. We know that after the attack, Clinton helped spread the obvious lie that the attacks were done by protesters over a YouTube video, even though she and the administration knew that the attack was coordinated and accomplished with militants. Clinton even had the audacity to mention this at the hangar when the 4 American heroes' bodies were brought back from Benghazi. Hillary Clinton can smirk and smile all she wants, but the death of those 4 Americans are on her. The blood is on her hands, and I'm willing to bet she hasn't lost a minute of sleep over it. It actually disgusts me that a woman with such disregard for Americans and our values could be so close to the presidency. And her chances are not even closer, since Joe Biden stated last week that it is too late for him to end the race and will not do so. This effectively gives Hillary the nomination. She's way up in all the polls. But I fail to see how so many Democrats can still support her with all these scandals. I mean, we know she caused the death of these 4 Americans, that she took foreign money during her time as Secretary of State, and she was housing classified information on a private server, and she refused to give any of this information to the FBI. I mean, are the Democrats just blind? Surely you can't believe that all these scandals are just made up. At least one of them, just by the numbers, had to be at least true, and any one of them, by themselves, will keep anybody else far away from the presidency. In fact, any of them would put someone other than Hillary in prison. But instead, she is a leading candidate for the Democratic Party, not an inmate in federal prison. Oh, what a world we sure live in.